takes f6, next queen c5, rook f1, queen b5, rook d1, c6, rook d4, c b2, rook c4, bishop e7, king g1, queen g5, bishop f5, rook a d8, h4, queen e3, queen f2, queen d3, queen f1, queen d2, queen f2, queen d1, queen f1, queen f1, king takes f1, e5, king e1. Black is winning. Mm, so here is the position. It's white to move and white plays the first move, giving king takes h7, king takes h7, rook h5, king g8, knight g6, queen g2. No other option because rook h8 mate is stealing the mate. Rook takes g2, rook f3, rook h8, king f7, and rook takes f8, rook f8, and it's mate. So moving on to the next position, it's black to move, and black plays the brilliant move knight f4. His idea is white plays bishop takes f4, and he will give one move made queen g2. So white plays c3, queen c3 targeting the f3 bishop already, which who is targeted by the g2 pawn, but he can't take it because of tactical tactics. Knight e2 check, king h1, knight takes c3, knight takes c3, f5, g takes f3 check, and now you can see it's clearly winning for black because when white plays king g3, black can play f4 and black can play f4 and white can play then bishop h4, but then white will come black will come rook f5 to rook h5 or rook f6 to rook g6 or rook f5 to rook g5, and it's winning for black. So moving on to the next one. So it's white to move. White plays bishop e8 check. Knight takes e8. King g5 supporting the knight on g6 to help it mate with the rook on f8. Bishop takes e4, planning that trying to take the knight on g6, but he fails because it's white to move now, and yes, it's mate on rook f8. So moving on to the next position, it's black to move, and you can see white it's in game, and white has 4 pawns, black has only 2 pawns, and you know in endgames who has more pawns wins. So rook h1, black gives rook h1, black takes the king, white takes the rook, knight g3, f takes g3, queen takes g2, and king takes g2, and you can see it's a stalemate because white black king and it's black to move and black can't move his king or any of the pawns because he can't move his g5 pawn nor his f6 pawn nor his king to g7 nor h7 nor g6 nor h5, so it's a stalemate. And here if black plays any other move except checks, then he will definitely lose the game. So moving on to the next position, it's black to move and plays the brilliant move rook to g6, attacking the pawn on g2, which is already already attacked by the queen and the bishop, and he's giving it more attack with the rook on g2 and making it a mating idea as he is trying to move bishop takes g2. White will definitely move bishop takes g2, and here why black will give the move queen takes g2, which is an absolute and mate. White gives the forced move g3. Black plays bishop takes f1. White plays rook takes f1. Knight d2, bishop takes e4. Knight takes b3. Queen d1. D takes e4. Queen takes b3. And it's black who is winning because of exchange exchange up, and they have equal pawns, but he can just play like king h8, f5, like this he can play, or he can play rook e8 to e6, and then he can, but before that he had to move yeah, like h5 or h6 to keep his back rank, so that he doesn't get mated at the back rank. So he can play rook to e8 to e6, and then he can play. He will win surely because it's rook versus rook and rook, double rook versus rook and bishop. So moving on to the next position, it's white to move, and white plays bishop to f6. So so you can see white is trying to attack on the g7 with the help of his knight and bishop, and black bishop is already white bishop is already and also attacking the e5 queen. So guys, if you think black takes this f6, then it's a huge mistake, because white will play knight to h6 and king to h8 and rook takes f6, g takes f6, and it's, you can say it's completely winning, because knight takes f7, rook takes f7, bishop takes f7, and knight e7, where you can see though black has 4 pieces, white has 3 pieces with a queen, a bishop, and a rook, and an extra pawn. And he can easily win the game by queen to h4 to to queen to h6 to a f6 check. It would be mate if black is not careful. So in this way, he can win the game. So moving on our actual game. So white plays knight h6, king h8, queen takes e5. You will ask why he played queen takes e5. He could have played bishop takes e5. So my friend, if he takes bishop takes e5, then black will play knight takes h5, and it's you can say it's black who is better now. So moving on to our actual position. Here white takes queen takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, and you can see here white is a piece up. f6, f4. You will ask why he played such a dubious move like f6 and giving his knight, because if he played any other move like knight to e6, then white will definitely play knight to f7, king g8, and then bishop takes e6, knight takes e6, knight d6 type of move, attacking his bishop, bishop c6. Then he can play rook f8 to rook f8 and exchange the rooks, because and win easily, because white is a pawn and also a minor piece up. So bishop takes f4, g takes h6, bishop takes h6, and you can see here white is attacking the f8 rook as well, and he has to move it, and then white can take this f6 pawn. So black gives a counter attack. Rook. Uh, Sorry guys. Yes. Bishop d5. Bishop takes d5. Takes d5. Rook c8. Rook takes f6. Rook takes c3. Rook fc1. Rook e f1. Rook f1. And start getting rook f8. Start getting rook f8. Rook takes f8. And rook takes f8. Mate. So to protect this, black is playing rook to g8, white is playing rook f8, playing rook c8, and white is playing rook takes c8, rook takes c8, rook f8, rook takes f8, bishop takes f8, king g8, bishop e7, king f7, d6, king 6, king f2, king d5, king e3, king c5, king c4, g4, king c2, king c3, h4, king c2, g5, king d3. And here guys, don't mistakenly give this h5. Yes, you can win here because if he plays h6, then you can play g5, h takes g5, h6, g4, h7, g3, and a queen, and you obviously win this game. But it's better to be safe than sorry. So you can play. You will always play and not try to risk your uh, king by playing h5. But you can play here g5, king d2, and here you can play h5, king a2, e6, hg6, hg6. You can play b5, but now we can already promote g7 4, and now the promotion g8 queen, b3. I can play queen a8, b2, queen a6 check, king b1, king d4, king c2, queen c. We can play queen e2, or then king c1, then queen e1 check, king c2, white moves king c5, b1, queen b1, king b1, king b6, king c2, king c7, king c3, king d7, king d4, and it's completely winning because king c8, king d5, king d7, king e6, bishop h4, king f7, and d8 queen. So guys, I think you have understood. So moving on to our next position, it's white to move, and white gives brilliant. You can see here black is winning the game because he has not only a pawn up but also a minor piece knight up, and he's threatening to mate white on c1. So white moves, and you can see this position is kind of locked. So you can see if white manages to check and give all his big pieces, then, and if it's white's move, then it will be a stalemate and it's a draw for white and black. So white gives rook a8 check, rook takes a8, queen a2 check, and rook takes a2. And here you can see nor white can play g6 pawn, nor can he play f4 pawn, nor can he play f3, nor can he play the king anywhere, nor on f2, nor on f1, nor on g2, nor on h2, nor on h1, and he's obviously sitting on g1. So yeah, I hope you guys have understood the position. So moving on to the next position is black to move and black plays. I think I've shown you this position before. So I'm again showing you this. It's queen takes g5, queen takes g5, bishop takes g5, and you can't take with f takes g5, and you can't, and even if you don't take it, and I will show you what will happen if you take with king, but if you don't take, then also it's a loss because you are a pawn down and black is a pawn up and black can win. So bishop takes g5, white did not couldn't find the immediate mate that white black was going to do. So he captured king takes g5, h5, h4 is the move what black played, targeting rook h5 mate, which is unavoidable. White plays rook h2 and the flying final blow rook h5 checkmate. So moving on to the next position, black move and white plays knight d2, rook takes d2, rook takes e1, king takes e1, and rook g1, and it's a check and mate. So moving on to the next position, it's a white move. White plays rook e7, bishop d5, a5, king h2, rook e7, f e6, knight e5, e takes d8, it's a queen. Rook takes d8, knight h6. You can see that knight can't take on g6 because it is in a pin by the it is pinned by the bishop on b2. So black plays bishop g7 to unpin, and immediately white cuts the knight with his bishop, and black also cuts it. White plays g3, rook takes rook f8, f4, bishop d4, f5, rook f6, queen e8, king g7, knight g4, rook f5, queen b7, f7, queen b6, bishop b7, queen h6, king g8. And you can see it's a white is winning. So I'm moving to the next position. It's a white move and white is playing queen g6, h takes g6, and it's rook h3 mate. So guys, while I'm changing the title of my video, started live streaming with the wrong. Moving on to the next position now. So it's black to move, and you can see that black has already come into the white's position, and it's a very bad position for white. So queen h3, where plays the first move, queen h3, white plays king g1, rook e5, rook d5, preventing black to play rook g5 and only to mate. Knight takes d5, queen d2, knight e3, queen takes d3, rook takes e3, f takes e3, rook b8, b3, queen g3, king f1, g5, rook d2, rook e8, and it's white who is winning the game. So guys, it's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this session, and if you like video, please like and subscribe my channel for more videos, and I will be live tomorrow with these exciting puzzles at 11 o'clock at night. So be ready and visit my channel, and you can also visit my channel now because I am going to be on leeches. You can visit my ID, it's Tuhin underscore Ravindranath. You can see I'm an Indian, so it's like that. So you can, so for now, goodbye.